It's Joyce from Joyce Farkas Fluid Art. Today I'm going to do a clock on a record album. As you can see, I've got the back all taped off, ready to go. I always do like to have a hole in the middle and let it kind of drain into that and through that hole. The reason being, when I go to put my resin on top of this, it's easier for me to let it drip through than to try to drill it out. I hate waiting and expecting my husband to have to help me with something, and I don't touch drills. I am not a drill person. So anyway, I let the paint go through the middle as it dries, of course. So today I am using Color to Go Nebulous White for my base pillow. I am, I'm make sure I don't get paint all over my card. I am using a color card from Color Cubes, and my paint that I'm using today for these are Golden Peach by TLP, Latte from TLP, Caramel Drizzle, TLP, Metallic Gold from Matisse, and this is a custom mix, which is kind of a taupey color. It's not exactly what's on the card, but it's close enough, and it's got a little bit of caramel drizzle in it so that it blends nicely. So we're going to go with this. That's my color palette, and let's get started here. Okay, everybody, I'm going to do a voiceover here on this video because this turned out to be a nightmare. So the piece you see before you is the piece that I completed on that record album, but I was so ho-hum about the color palette being on the white base. It just did nothing for me. So here you see me repainting it. I'm going over top a wet painting with the black paint for my pillow. I'm going to use the same exact color palette, and I'm at the end of this, I am much happier than I was with the palette on white. So I'll let you watch. I'll put on some nice music for you to listen to, and I hope you enjoy. Please stay tuned at the end because I'm going to show you how I put this clock completely together and give you some great tips for acquiring clock parts. So stick with me, and I'll come back at the end. Good morning, everybody. It's Joyce from Joyce Farkas Fluid Art. I thought I would come to you this morning. I am putting together a clock, and I thought it might be fun to show you how I finish off a clock and share with you the vast amount of knowledge that I have come by ordering clock parts. So anyway, I have this clock. It's a record album. You can see it's still taped off on the back, and it is ready to finish off. So I thought I would come to you today with some information on putting together a clock. First off, I want to go over some stuff. There are clock companies, there are a plethora of stuff on Amazon that you can order. But I'm going to tell you, you have to do a little research or refer back to this video. Amazon carries a ton of parts. They carry numbers, like these numbers here, all different colors. And what I'm going to tell you is I particularly didn't like these. You have to snap them off the center bar, and when you do, it leaves a little demarcation on the bottom of the number, and I really didn't like that. But you can get these off of Amazon very, very easily. There's tons of listings for these numbers. They're all going to come with this little bar in the middle. Probably the only ones that aren't going to show the demarcation are maybe the black. The silver and the gold, the inside of these are black. At least my first set was. So I just didn't like it. I thought it looked cheap and chintzy. So I ordered a different kind of number from Amazon. You have to dig a little deeper for these, but these are really cool little numbers. They come with a little film on them, so you have to remove the film off of them. But they are all individual numbers that you don't have to pull apart. So, I don't know if whoop, 2. So anyway, these are really a nice substitute, and I thought these were really pretty classy. So they are not glow in the dark, but they are really a nice option, and they come in silver, black, and gold. So these are from Amazon, and they work. These numbers that I've shown you, all of them, are going to work on something that's about this size. So these records really make nice clocks with those numbers. Another thing you have to watch out for are these little parts here. I don't know if you can see this, but the stem here are different sizes. So these work great for the little CDs. If you're making little CD clocks, let me grab one and show you. I should show you that. Sorry about that. So this is a CD clock. It's an actual CD, and I've put it together. I painted the front and put it together, and it works perfectly. As you can see, it's running, and the short stem part is perfect for these little CD clocks. The long stem sticks out too far, and you end up having to put spacers in. So the little CD clock, you want to get the short stem. And I'll see if I can put the link up for this, for the short stem. Actually, I'm going to take that off. Again, I'm going to show you these so you can see them. The short stem are harder to find, but you have, again, know what you're looking for. The longer stem is fine for the bigger clock, or the record album clock, or anything that's got a thicker base to it. Okay. I also want to warn you, something that I did was I ordered these great little, they're little mini hands. You can see in there or not. There are tons of little tiny hands that I bought for my CD clocks. Well, guess what? They require a special stem. The holes in the center of these, right here, the little holes, are tiny. And they require a whole different type of movement. It requires one that looks like this. So I don't recommend that you get those little hands, because this little guy all by itself was almost $10. Just one. And it came with all its parts, which is really nice, but again, I don't want to have to pay $10 for just the movement, just to use my little hands. So now I'm stuck with all these little hands that I probably will never use, because I ordered them thinking, oh, they'll be perfect. Oh, look at that. They're just the right size. And here I can't even use them. So anyway, I wanted to warn you about that. So make sure you're reading the description. Just don't go based on the fact that it says it's tiny hands for small clocks. It might be tiny hands, but it means that you've got to order a special little motorized doodah. I don't know what you call them. I also wanted to show you that I have a ton of hands. There are many listings on Amazon for hands. I've gotten a bunch, but again, caution. I throw caution here. They're the right size. They're pretty, but the majority of them are black. And sometimes the black hands don't show on our beautiful art. So it depends on your coloration. Like this is a lighter color substrate. And even then, the black hands, they show in some areas nicely, but in others they don't. So I found, again on Amazon, these are white hands, which again will probably be a very specific clock I'd ever use them on. And these are gold, and they're just kind of straight, which is what I like, because you can use like a toenail clipper and just clip them down to the size you need them to be. So for a lot of my little mini clocks, this one is an exception because I had a smaller set of hands. So the black looked awesome on this. But black is not going to show up as well on this one. I mean, it would, but I am going to put gold hands on it because I think they will show better. So anyway, some of these little clocks, I can use these bigger hands on because they're straight, and just use like I said, a nail clipper and clip them to the size that I need. So anyway, so a lot of this stuff, like I said, you can get a lot of it on Amazon. It's there and available, but just know what you're getting. Make sure you're ordering the correct sizes, and ordering the correct product. I wanted to show you a couple other things. This I got from Amazon. They're, I don't know if you can see, but you can see through the holes for the numbers. So you could paint it, put one of these on the back, and create a clock. And the neat part about these things is that, oops, goes this way, it has an automatic hanger on it. So when you put the clock together, you'll have a way to hang the clock from here. So using something like this would be super easy, super easy. Another thing that I bought, which I thought was really cool, I think I got this from Amazon. I bought it a while ago, and I honestly just don't remember where I got it, but I think it was from Amazon. But you can put this down on your clock when you resin it. See if I can get it centered a little bit. And it's Roman numerals, but it really looks pretty. It would look really nice on this one. This was a little bit more expensive, if I recall. I don't remember what I paid for it, and I really apologize that I don't remember where I got it, but I think it was Amazon. And I only bought one just to try it. It says it's for resin. So you could resin your piece, put that right in your wet resin, and it's going to be there stationary. It's not going to move on you. So there you have it. There's all my clock parts. Again, let me just reiterate, make sure that when you buy these pieces that you're buying the right size for what you need to do with it. The little mini clocks, I like the short base. And for a bigger clock, I like these longer bases. Your clock parts should come with one of these little rubber washers that you put down against your surface. And then it comes with a little, what do you call this? It's a washer, but it's made for clock parts. and then a little hex nut, again for clock parts. And then I buy these little spacers. It's just very thin. I don't know if you can see that. It's a spacer, and I get these. They're from Everbuilt. I just get them at Home Depot. It's a little plastic washer. I also want to tell you that, so a couple weeks ago, I ordered in, I found a site on Amazon where I could get all these little short stemmed mechanisms. And when they came in, they did not come with any of the washers or the hex nuts or the rubber washer. And I'm like, now what am I going to do? I've got all these things and no parts to go with them. They sent me these, luckily, but they didn't send me the rest of the stuff. So I went on to a company called clockparts.com and was able to order packages of hex nuts, the rubber washers, and the other washers in individual packages of 10. So I was able to get in what I needed to finish these. And probably from now on, I'll even price these at the clockparts.com, because they may, I don't know. I have to see what I paid for these versus what they have them for. So anyway, that's what I've learned so far. And I have to tell you, I have this whole basket of clockpart stuff that I hope I'll get to use, because you know I have more hands than I'll ever need, but I may not have the right color. You know, once you get a clock and you look at it, it may not be, if you have all these black hands and you have a very dark colored clock, black is not going to show. So anyway, so I'm going to clean up my space here for a minute, put some of this away, and set up to finish this clock, and I will be back with you. So stick with me. Okay, everybody, we're back. So the very first thing you have to do is get your clock so that you can get this thing through the hole. Right now it's too tight to do so. So you could take a drill to it. I'm going to raise this up just a hair. You could take a drill to it, but what I do is I use this tool. This is for resining, and it's a cutter. And I just take my tool into the hole, like so, and I just roll it around in a circle. I don't know if you can see this, but it is pulling off, where am I? It is pulling off some of the resin and paint from that very center. And I just keep stopping and seeing when that goes through. We're still not there. It's not quite going through the hole. So I'll clean this off real quick. And I'm going to go back from the front this time. And again, run it around in a circle. It doesn't like the album so much, but it takes off that paint really easily. And it doesn't damage it. So let's see how we are now. We are almost there. Just a little bit more. So I'm going to go from the back this time. And again, running it around in a circle. And it does the trick, let me tell you. And I don't like to mess with drills. My husband is the drill guy, and there we go. It's now through the hole quite easily. So let me clean off the mess. And clean off my mat here. There we go. All nice and clean. So it's ready to go. The next thing I have to do is remove all the tape. So we're gonna do that real quick. Got my heat gun here. Actually, what I'm gonna do is put this down so I don't damage the surface of my clock. I don't want to make a mess of that. That would be bad. But I'm going to start pulling off my tape. Sometimes it will damage the back of your record album. There's really no avoiding that. Even your CDs. Sometimes the CDs, this one, you can kind of see it down here. It pulled the silver part off. There's not much I can do about that, but it's the back and it's not really going to show. So, I don't worry about that too much, but it will sometimes damage those areas. So, anyway, what I do is I try to get this middle going, the middle pulled up, and then I use my heat gun to remove the part where the paint is. See, that's pulling up the label, which is probably best because some people don't like that you're ruining an album. And to be honest with you, these were covered in scratches. I got them at an antique store for like $2 or something. So I don't know that they were really good albums to begin with. So I didn't even put them on a record player to try them, but they are covered in scratches that I didn't put there. All right, so I've got it to the point where I think we need the heat gun. So I'm going to go in here. I do small sections at a time because I find that easier. Does have some of my base paint there. And if that bothers you, you can, take some alcohol to it or a little knife and try to scrape it off. But I typically leave it. It shows that it was painted. All right, there we go. That was painless and fairly easy. Okay, you could use this little tool to go around the edge and clean that up a little bit. It will do so. Not necessary, not, something you have to do. But if that bothers you, by all means, go in there and clean it up. It is going to take off some of the vinyl from the album when you do that. It does smooth out the edge a little bit. So totally up to you how much effort you want to put into cleaning that edge up. As you can see, it does a nice job of cleaning that. It's digging into the vinyl, like I said, so you don't know that it's all that necessary. The important part is the front. So anyway, so that is done. Move my little filings there. So now we're ready to put everything on the clock. So I typically will start with the numbers. And the first thing I do it. There it is. I get a ruler. And, well, the very first thing you need to do is decide what orientation you want to look at the clock at. Do you want, you know, the dark at the bottom? Do you want it to the side? Do you want it at the top? You know, what orientation do you like the best? And, so I kind of like, it's just got this one stripe up here. I kind of like the idea of putting the 12 there. It kind of leads your eye down to the center and then the black at the bottom. So I think that's how I'm going to go with this, is so that that top is getting, you know, the 12 near it or on it. Let's see if we can get it on it. So what I like about this ruler, I don't know if you can see this, but it's got this center yellow line. It's made by Westcott, W-E-S-T-C-O-T-T. I like it because it helps me to figure out where my numbers have to go. So I can put this right in the center and then spin it where, you know, 1 and 2 and 3, or however, you know, I can just kind of line it up, and then I pull it back so it's still lined up. I pull it back enough to be able to put my number down. So I know exactly where my numbers need to go. Let me pull all my numbers out here. So in other words, my 3 would go right here. And I would go ahead and glue that down, and then pull this back and do the other side and line up my 9 over here. Let's see if I can find my 9. So in other words, I'd take it and line my 9 up over here so that it kind of hits the center of this yellow line. So this is how I do it. Some people might be good at eyeballing it and just saying, well, that's where my 3 goes, this is where my 12 goes, you know, this is my 6 down here, and so forth. But I don't know. I might be good to hit that close, but I feel better with this little ruler that helps me line up my numbers directly in the center. So that's my cheat. Okay, so anyway, we'll start with the 12 and the 6. Also, these numbers have I don't think they have backing on them. Last time I did these, I could not peel anything off the back. I'm pretty sure they do not. But the front, at least the last set, yep, they do. They have a little tiny bit of film on them. And then they're real shiny. They're so pretty. So, I take that film off, which wants to stick to you. And the glue I use is Suxon B7000. You can use any kind of glue, but this is what I like. And it's, I don't know, it just works really well. I also like that it has one of these little metal, let me see that, metal stoppers in it that goes down in that little tiny pinhole. It keeps it clear of gunk while it's not in use. So I like that part. So anyway, I'm going to take my ruler again. I'm going to have to move this up just a hair. If I move it too far, you won't be able to see. So again, I'm looking at my ruler, what looks straight to me. I want it at 12 in that area right here. So I'm going to put it down, and then I'm going to move it down and out of the way. It looks straight to me. It's not rocket science, people, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's handmade. I just put a little bead of glue like that, if you can see it, and then I very carefully, gotta get that out of my way further, lay it down, straighten it up, make sure it's where I want it. I think it's off a little bit. I want it away from the edge about a quarter of an inch. So again, press it down hard so it seals up to it. Just so you know, if you drop it down and it's not in the right place and now you have glue on your clock, a little spritz of alcohol real quick and it will rub right off and clean up for you. So again, I got that 12 where I want it. It looks good, and I'm happy with that. All right, so we're going to put this back on, and we're going to run this up through the 12, or over top the 12, in the center of the hole. Again, make sure it looks straight, and it does. And I'm ready for my 6 down here. Okay, so again, I gotta get the film off. Here it goes. It was easy this time. And a little line of glue. Don't really require a whole lot to stick down to it. Another way he could do this, here's my 6, press it down. Another way you could do this, if you have a good eye, is when you resin, you could lay your numbers into your wet resin. And trust me, they're not going to go anywhere. But you have to have a really good eye for it and really know what you're doing to put them down and not have them mess up your resin. So it's not my favorite way to do things. So the next ones I do typically are the 3 and the 9. And again, you have to eyeball, you know, is it straight that way? Is it straight this way? Is it straight this way? You have to kind of look at it and decide, you know, pick it up, look at it, make sure that you're happy with how that looks. So in this particular case, I'm happy with it this way. I'm going to pull this back and put my numbers in. So this would be a 3 right here. There we go. So I'm going to speed this up for you. you don't need to see me painstakingly put every single number on here. So we'll speed up the process here in a second. Let me set this down. So again, remember you can clean up any little glue spots. But they're probably not going to show anyway. Here's my 3. So I'm just going to let this keep recording, and I'm going to shut up for a little bit and just do my work. Okay, everybody, I'm going to talk to you again for a minute. I'm just going to take a little bit of alcohol on top of the numbers and wipe them off carefully. I'm going to move them and all. I want to get my fingerprints off of them. So as you can see, that was fairly easy to do. You just got to take your time, make sure the numbers are straight, or as close as you can get them. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's a homemade clock. Find my top. There it is. To my glue. To my glue. The glue works great. Throw away my little pieces parts here. I'll do that in a minute. All right, so clock is ready to assemble. So the next thing I'm going to do before I assemble it is sign the back and put the name of the collection. This is part of a collection. I have a 10-inch round painting in the same color scheme, and a trivet and a set of coasters, all in the same color scheme. So I call them a collection, and they all go together or can be purchased separate, whichever. Got a little bit of glue on here, like a string. Okay, so a little alcohol removes it, and looks like I got a little bit over here too. Ow, how did I do that? I must have moved it. Cleans it right up though. Right up and right off. Well, if I can get the little string it made, there it goes. So anyway, I'm going to quickly sign it, and I'll fast forward through that part too. Okay, I signed that in one of these Uniposca markers in gold. Let that dry for a minute, and we'll come right back, and we are gonna put this thing together. See how it goes together. We'll determine whether we need a short or a long stem base on it. All right, so let's put this thing together. So when you put this on, you get your battery compartment here. You want to make sure that that is not going to be getting in the way of your battery compartment. So I like to put it this way. It's got little slots in the thing here for it to kind of sit in. And you want you want it so that when you put it in, it's away from the album. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that too well. See? And then you can flip it over. Now, that stem is quite long, so one thing we need on here is this little rubber washer. So you put the rubber washer on, you put the clock down on it, and then you put your other washer, and then this guy screws down on top. Now, I'm looking at this and I see an awful lot of space there. Can you see that right there? So I'm wondering if I need the shorter stem. The shorter stem seems to work better on the CD clocks and these other clocks. So I'm going to switch that out real quick for a short stem. Now I could put a spacer in there, which might make a difference. I don't know. Let's see. See if we put a spacer on there. That would help. It would help, but it's still going to pull the numbers really far away from the clock. So I think I'm going to go to a short stem and see how that does. Then maybe I don't have to use a spacer at all. So I'll take this off of here, and I'm going to come down here with this one and this one, and we'll see how this does. Now look, it just barely clears to get this hex nut down on top of there, but it does clear it. So we're going to try that. I'll use my tool. You can get a hex nut tool to use. I am going to just use these pliers, and you want to make sure that your hanger lines up with your 12. So here's my 12, and here's my hanger. So that's one thing you want to make sure you do, is line that up nicely. I have to get me one of those little hex nut tools. It would be so much easier than trying to do pliers here. Ooh. I'm getting a good grip. You want to tighten it down pretty good. All right, so there she is. Now, before I get too far, I want to see if I have a battery handy. I probably don't. Of course I don't. I never have what I need when I want it, right? Batteries are downstairs, but I typically, before I get too far, like to make sure I have battery handy. You wouldn't want to put the battery in yet, because the minute you put your hands on here, it's going to make those hands start to turn, and I like working with it without that. So so here's our hands. So the best way to remember it is this one goes on last, because it's got the topper. It's a nice finished spot here with the circle on top. So that one's last. You always start with the biggest hole, and that's your minute hand, or I'm sorry, your hour hand. And a trick my husband showed me was to put it on upside down first. That seems to stretch the metal a little bit. So I always put it on upside down, pop it off, and then put it on. And you have to kind of squish it down and seat it as far down as it will go. Okay, so there it's on. Now we put on our minute hand. Whoops, I forgot my husband's trick. Again, put it on upside down. Pull it back up. I don't know why it works, but it does. And if you've watched my videos before, you know he likes to hear that he's right. So you were right, honey. And then finally goes on our second hand. And you want these hands, I don't know if you can see these. Let me see if I can show you. You want the hands to be stacked and clear each other. So kind of put them close together so that you can see that they are stacked. I don't know if you can see that too well. I don't have anything dark. You can see there that they are stacked so that as they turn around this clock, they're going to clear each other. So there you have it. There's a clock. And I think this would be a great clock for a beach house. It's just got that sandy beach color to me, and the nice beachy colors. So anyway, I think that's all I have to tell you and show you. But definitely try a clock. They're a lot of fun, and I especially like doing them on these record albums. It's a defunct album. Nobody was going to listen to this album anymore with all the scratches on it. I don't know. I'm not probably going to be able to show you those in camera. You can't really see them, but trust me, they're there. There's a lot of scratches on this baby, so I don't think it was probably worth anything anyway. I don't even remember who it was, but anyway, there you have it, a finished completed clock. It's ready to hang, put a battery in, and list on my Etsy site. So if anyone is interested in this clock, just give me, you can either go on my Etsy shop and buy it, or you can call me, or jaf507@comcast.net. Give me a quick email, and I can send you an invoice and ship it to you. So anyway, definitely do clocks. They're a lot of fun. That's all I have. Bye for now. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe and tell your friends.